Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto, Willies, your host. Thank you so kind for being a part of the show. Hey, guys, I have a feeling that on Facebook that the we had a glitch, and now you have to go to the next feed because it seems like we lost our Facebook feed for a minute there, but it went ahead and reconnected. So you may want to go ahead and reconnect to the new FB feed. Let me go ahead and put that there because it's now connected to a different FB feed. Not my doing. Something happened on the back end, but it's all corrected now. Anyway, let's see if people are on the new feed yet. Get on to the new Facebook feed, folks. Let me go ahead. New Facebook feed because something happened on the system. I don't know what happened. Anyway, we're going to have a great show for you today, folks. We're going to have a great show for you. We're going to talk about. I don't know. Let me go ahead and start reading what you guys have to say. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Bruce Pollard. Is this it? Yes, Bruce, that is it. Welcome aboard as well. Breach MCP. Welcome aboard E224. I didn't say where you're from. Welcome aboard, Bruce Pollard from Kingwood. Welcome aboard, Michael Rudnan from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome aboard. Para ver who else is in the house. E2247 from all over. Welcome aboard. Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. Welcome aboard. Who else? I'm scrolling up. Para ver, Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. Lee Grant from Montgomery County. Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. We also have Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. From Atlanta, Georgia, we also have in the house. I'm scrolling up. Okay, I don't have anybody else to salute. Just let me know when you get in so that I can give you the appropriate saludos because I like to do that. I guess Eric Hayes just arrived as well. Paul Fleming is in the house. All right, let's go ahead and start. Michael says there's no defense for this. CBS News. Israeli lawmaker defends alleged rape of Hamas prisoner as far-right protester rage over IDF troops detention. Lawmaker Hanoch Milzwiski was asked as he defended the alleged abuse whether it was legitimate to insert a stick into a person's rectum. Milzwiski or Milwitsky shouted in reply to his fellow parliamentarians, yes, if he is a Nakba, Hamas militant, everything is legitimate to do. Everything. Well, that's how they feel, right? Let's see what happens if the shoe's on the other foot. Of course, you're going to have everybody screaming, right? All right. Michael also said, Middle East eye. 9 Israeli soldiers in a notorious SDE Taiman detention center were arrested on Monday on suspicion of raping a Palestinian detainee, sparking a riot where far-right activists and MPs stormed the facility. Israeli military police raided SDE Taiman, but were met with resistance by soldiers who reportedly barricaded themselves into the facility and used pepper spray to defend themselves before eventually being taken into custody. The soldiers were suspected of abusing a Palestinian detainee who, according to Arab 48, is suffering from a serious wound in his rectum area. The prisoner had been transferred from Sediman Taiman in the Negev desert to a hospital in Beersheba, which is also southern Israel. That's a shame. That's a shame. But what can I say? Did anyone from Bridge MCP, did anyone see Trump at the Black Journalist Convention? Oh my God, no applause when he walked out. Then first question, she hammers him and comes back nasty ever. He comes back nasty as ever. Continuing after to just lie about everything. The FL case is over. I won, etc. The FL case is not over. He didn't win the case at all. What was disconcerting to me is that they actually gave him a platform. I wrote a tweet to them because I couldn't believe Roland Martin a couple of nights ago or last night, I don't remember which one, he had a cow when he found out. He's a member of the Black Journalists Union. It's a National Association of Black Journalists. He's a member. and he almost had a cow. So I did write a little piece, and let me see if I can find what I wrote to the NABJ, because it is preposterous that we actually gave gave Trump a platform. It was shameful. It was completely shameful. And what I wrote was the following. I said, the N the NABJ should be ashamed of themselves for giving Donald Trump a platform. He insulted you on your program and you took it. It would be best if you had marched him out immediately. Trump used you for sound bites for his white supremacist MAGA base. That's what I wrote in a tweet as I was watching that and blogging. The NABJ got used. They were used, and Martin told them that that is exactly what was going to happen. And you know what? It happened. They were used. Anyhow, continuing with my peeps. So yes, Badij, he lied about everything. He even brought up the stuff about Black Job again. But you know what? Uh, uh, Kamala Harris is changing the script on him, and I'm going to show you guys that a little bit later. All right, Paul Fleming says it's horrifying that over 30% of American women of reproductive age live in states with a total or 6 week abortion bans. This week, Iowa joined that list. If the far right gets their way with Trump in the White House, 100% of American women would live under a national abortion ban. But if we elect Vice President Harris, she'll sign a law ensuring reproductive freedom nationwide as soon as Congress passes it. I agree. Let's see. From E2247, Cori Bush, Missouri once sits on the Judiciary and Oversight and Accountability, urgently needing all our help for her August 6th Democratic primary. AIPAC put up a guy to run against Cori Bush, and they have given that guy millions of dollars to try to take out one of the squad. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. AIPAC, Super PAC, United Democracy Project, by end of June spent $2.5 million for Wesley Bell to beat Cori Bush. UDP spent $14.6 billion to beat Jamal Bowman. It worked because of the demographics Jamal represented. Yes, a large uninformed base, but what can I say? Continuing. Michael says, there's no defense. Oh, I read that one already. Bruce Pollard, yes, you're on the right feed now. Do I have to repost my post, Egberto? Actually, because I didn't hang up, I was able to keep it going, Bridge MCP. All right, let's go ahead and go to Paul Fleming. He says, is she Indian or is she black? Damn it, she's both. Trump said on his Democratic rival Kamala Harris in the U.S. presidential race, drawing a smattering of jeers from an audience of about 1,000 people. She was Indian all the way, and all of a sudden she made a turn and became a black person. You know, this forgets that, you know, Trump really think his base is stupid because they're not going to look it up, right? The woman went to Howard University, a predominantly black university, what they call what do they call a, you know, prehistorically, not prehistorically. Anyway, they have a word for that. She also is an AKA. Oh my God, how is she forgetting? You know, I mean, and this is from her youth. It didn't just happen. You don't become an AKA at 59 years old. You become an AKA in college. So he was off base completely. It's amazing. All right, for Texas peeps, Egberto Michael damaging West Texas earthquake likely caused by oil and gas activity. USGS damaging earthquakes that rocked West Texas in recent days were likely caused by oil and gas activity in the area that's weathered tremors for decades, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. A sequence that began in 2021 erupted with its largest quake on Friday, a magnitude 5.1 The most active area in the country for quakes induced by oil and gas activity. Experts say the recent quake damaged homes, infrastructure, utility lines, and other property, weakening foundation and cracking walls and ceilings. Officials say no injuries have been reported. The city of Snyder office management on Facebook. You know what? For all those people who are constantly saying drill, 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 or frack, 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 who's going to fix your home? Who's going to fix your foundation? Who is going to give you clean water? If you know what's happening in West Texas, the earthquake is just a start. It's just a start. All those old wells that were capped are deteriorating right now. I brought an engineer onto my program, petroleum engineer onto my program that was running here. And it's amazing that he's found that throughout Texas, all these abandoned wells are starting to leak because one, they weren't capped correctly, and two, they don't even know where they are. So, folks, you follow the Drill Baby Drill group as opposed to doing things responsibly. We're going to lose our entire water table and a lot more. So, yeah, baby, drill. All right, let's see. Eric K says, despite recent negative trends in global oil demand, the port of all right. You don't mind that you're frying the earth, right? You don't mind that you're destroying the earth, right? You're going to keep putting that oil talk that a dummy like Donald Trump talks about. Don't let Donald Trump make you dumb. He is dumb. We don't need to. Bruce Pollard says, I spent $100K of funny money on infusion this morning. I know, Bruce. That is $100,000, and lucky for you, you have very good insurance that's going to pay that. But unfortunately for many, no cigar. Paul Fleming says, wait a minute. How did Trump get the director of Project 2025 fired if he doesn't know anything about it? There we go. But remember, Paul, you think critically. MAGA, a large portion of the MAGA base does not. They're just followers. Follow the leader. If he tells you to jump off a cliff, you'll jump off the cliff to your death. All right, let's see what else we got here. Egberto, I have to wonder if the Israeli people are going through some kind of psychotic break, defending IDF members who committed rape, torture, and murder. No, I don't think so. What I honestly think is there are good people in the world and there are bad people in the world. And the people who are defending those guys are the bad people in the world getting a lot of press. Most Israelis that I know and most Jews that I know, and I'm going to play a piece of that sometime in the near future, are good people. All right. Mike C. says, so everyone with a brain is rightly blaming Biden for the border crisis, and Kamala, who was the border czar, she was never the border czar. But again, we can't help your thinking process. Actually, a lot of what she did in Central America is bearing fruit right now. As you can see, the border is also have less people coming over the border than when Trump was president. So take that and smoke it. All right, let's see. VP failed the bar. And what did Trump pass again? Trump failed life. All right. Let's see. Breach, MCP breaking. Donald Trump gets devastating news as billionaire Mark Cuban and LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman join forces and unite over 100 venture capitalists to back Kamala Harris for president. And it gets even better. We spend our days looking for investing in and supporting entrepreneurs who are building the future. Reads the VCs for Kamala's website. We are pro-business, pro-American dream, pro-entrepreneurship, and pro-technological progress. We also believe in democracy as the backbone of our nation. The site goes on. We believe that strong, trustworthy institutions are a feature, not a bug, and that our industry and every other industry would collapse without them. That is what's at stake in this election. Everything else we can solve through constructive dialogue with political leaders and institutions willing to talk to us. In this pivotal moment, we are united in our support for Vice President Kamala Harris. It reads, The announcement is a powerful rebuke to the far right Silicon Valley billionaires and kooks like Elon Musk, who have thrown their support behind Donald Trump's fascist movement in the hopes of more tax cuts. Ha! Carl Cox says Trump and Vance are walking, talking fertilizer factories. I agree. Bruce Pollard, she's American. Yes, she is. Breeds, they're stupid. Most of them. I agree. All right, let's see what else. What else have we got here? HBCU. Thank you very much, Lieb Grant. I don't know why sometimes my mind just goes. I wonder what happens if I go take that test, right? The cognitive, I know I'll ace it, but still. That I couldn't remember HBCU, historically black college, you know, historically black something universities, right? Anyway, uh, historically black colleges and universities. That's what it is. All right. We got the majority of applicants DO the first time or two. We don't have to, again, the premise behind when Trump talks to his people is that his premise is that they're not very smart, and he speaks to them as such. All right, he says it. He said, I love stupid people. I didn't say that. Trump said that. So if you're a Trump follower, it tells you what he thinks about you. All right, it's a wastewater that they put in. It's a wastewater. It's not only that they put in, as the engineer I brought on, is they put it under pressure. So the idea is they go deep enough, and the dynamic pressure, or rather the static pressure that they put the fluid under into those rocks that is supposed to store it forever, eventually fractures the rock, and that shouldn't be rocket science, you know. But by the time it fractures, they figure they're long gone. They've already gotten their profit. They'll already get over the profit. All right, let's see what else we got. Egberto, there are so-called good people protesting the IDF's right to rape. No, I don't say that at all. There are no good people trying to do that at all. If that's not a cultural psychotic break, I don't know what is. No, those are bad people that are doing that, brother. Palestinian human rights organizations like Adamer and organizations support Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails have reported countless cruelties against Palestinian prisoners. I see them on TikTok all the time. The lack of humanity of the IDF is not only on display with the bombs, it's what they do to all the prisoners as well. Warren Buffett actually pays taxes, and he has stated if just 800 wealthy corporations did the same, private citizens would not need to contribute a dime. Yeah, but he's a capitalist still. If he wants to make a change, renounce capitalism, renounce the monies that he's made on other people's back, and let's start looking at an economic system that actually works. I love when rich people come out and say, and I like Buffett, I like Gates. But who the hell gave them the right to accumulate all that money, and then all that money accumulation gave them the right to talk? I'm pretty sure many of you in here have better ideas and intellect than Warren Buffett. But because Warren Buffett has capital, we listen to Warren Buffett. I would love for us to start learning how to understand worth. Your worth isn't, we have equated worth with capital. Bruce Pollard is in the room. Bruce Pollard is an intellect. He's a PhD in chemistry. All right. Bridge MCP is an intellect. She was a professor at a university. Do you think I listen to Warren Buffett more than I would listen to Bruce or Bridge MCP? Hell no. This guy knows how to use capital and make money off of somebody else's back. Bruce knows how to do some great stuff with animation, with technology that looks into how lens can visualize things, and what you call that stuff that occurs in three-dimensional space and light. Holograms. Bridge MCP is an intellect. She knows about socioeconomics. Come on, people. Let's learn to establish our worth. Let's learn to establish our worth. Carl Cox just finished his degree. Fresh mind. He did it. I want to hear what he has to say. What I'm trying to say here is we have an interesting way of assigning worth. And one of the ways we assign worth is capital. That is the worst and absolutely worst way in which we can assign worth to somebody in a capitalist system. And the reason why is that many things within the capitalist system are completely and entirely anti intellectual. But I continue. Let's continue. Paul Fleming says, Mr. Cuban, Mark Cuban about entrepreneurs who won't raise the minimum wage. All of us pay for the fact that you're not paying that person enough. Billionaire to billionaire. Let's see what else we got. Lee Grant says, perhaps, but his gross amount paid is enormous. Okay. Hello, I always say your name wrong. Steigen Burger Krieg. They have an election and Maduro declared victory. What he is doing is analogous to what Trump is doing. It seems that way to me. You know, seems that way to me. All right. Let's see. Mike C. Sex says, I worked at a couple of universities. Well, lefts are anti-intellect. If you think that, it speaks more about you than that. All right. Michael Roden says, there's some contradictory information coming from Venezuela. I need a day or two to sort them out. Let me tell you, I went ahead and I went to Common Dreams. Some people at Common Dreams said the election was fair. But then I listened to the people at the Carter Center. I have a lot of respect for the people at the Carter Center who are generally going out to places to check out on elections. I think the election was stolen. That is my belief based on it coming from the Carter Center. They didn't quite say stolen. They said there's a lot of irregularities. I tend to fall under that domain. All right, Eric K says capitalism gives everyone the opportunity for successful to build generational wealth. That's a complete and entirely provable lie. Tell me one person that doesn't want financial freedom for their family. Crickets. Capitalism doesn't do that. That is what you were taught. Capitalism does not do that. And if you believe that, you bought the Kool-Aid. All right, folks, we got a video for you today. First of all, I want to do a piece that I did this morning on the healthcare system, and then we'll move it on to the next. She wrote an article. Her name is Anna Malino. And Anna Malino wrote a piece for Common Dreams called Marketplace Subsidies, Poll Tax on the Poor, Giveaways for the Rich, Subsidizing the for-profit insurance industry with taxpayer dollars is a disaster that must not continue. Whether you are Republican or Democrat, this matters to you. So I'm going to ask everybody here that's listening to this, take off your ideological lens, take off your ideological glass, and listen to this intently. When the Biden administration ended the COVID-19 public health emergency in March 2023, for over 20 million poor children and adults on Medicaid through Medicaid unwinding, it had just extended exchange health insurance subsidies, which provided billions of taxpayer dollars to health insurance companies for the same pandemic. In other words, during the Biden administration, and you know that we had the pandemic, we used the pandemic to get a whole lot of Americans, because there are millions of Americans that were uninsured. They didn't have health care. Well, because of the pandemic, that was a good entry into giving people health care. We want people healthy, right? Now, nowhere is the dictum socialism for the rich and capitalism for the poor more apparent than in the decision to end continuous enrollment in Medicaid, which protected millions of poor children and adults during the pandemic from being kicked off Medicaid, and to enhance and then continue the exchange health insurance subsidies through the Inflation Reduction Act. Again, remember what happened here. We had They stopped that automatic enrollment into Medicaid expansion, and now you had to go fight for it to see how best you could qualify for it. Now, you had to make this huge effort, whether you're poor, you're almost poor, or whatever. A lot of people still got the Medicaid, but I want to continue here. But KFF.org, a nonprofit health policy research polling and news organization, is sounding the alarm. The results of the 2024 elections will likely play a major role in whether the enhanced subsidies are extended beyond 2025, meaning vote for the Democratic candidate or these subsidies will be cut off. This is not a statement of hyperbole. These are statements of fact. Let me continue. Who benefits from the subsidies on the exchanges, also aptly called the marketplace? You know, when you go to healthcare.gov, you get the marketplace. This marketplace is all the insurance companies throw the plans that they've selected for people onto this marketplace, and supposedly now the American population who don't get insurance from their companies, which now are most, can go on this marketplace and shop for the best deal for insurance that they pay, and depending on how much you make, some of it is subsidized by the government. So let's continue. Yes, people who earn too much to qualify for Medicaid, or who live in states which have not expanded the Medicaid, but not enough to pay for private health insurance, benefit to some extent, but only in a warped kind of way. Depending on their level of poverty, these individuals and their families might qualify for zero premium monthly payment with a hefty deductible. KFF.org has a nifty calculator where you plug in your state, income, and size of family and figure out how much a silver plan will cost you. Keep reading the fine print, because even if you have zero monthly premiums, listen well here, folks. I need you to listen here. When you're going onto the marketplace, the Affordable Care Act, to shop, you may get a zero monthly income premium because, again, you're too poor for to pay the premium, but your out-of-pocket annual cost could be as high as $6,300 anyway, because there's a deductible. This means that you pay per year 6.3% of your annual income before the insurance company starts to pay a penny for your care. Poor people benefit if they don't get sick, but if they do get sick, now is where they pay out the gazoo. How much would a family of four earning about $40,000 pay per year pay for the silver plan without subsidies from the exchange? About $1,400 per month. Wait, is the insurance company giving poor people premiums for free? No, not at all. The government, using tax dollars, pays the insurance company $1,400 for the monthly premium. The government pays the insurance company $17,796 annually to provide the family with a silver plan, plus the family pays $6,300 out of pocket if they need health care before the insurance company pays a penny. In other words, before the insurance company starts to pay a penny for your health care, they have already made $24,000 every year for your family. I want you to understand, when these insurance companies are trying to tell you the government is trying to socialize your medicine, or you have the right-wing groups trying to tell you you're socialist because you want Medicare for all. You want to have a system that doesn't just give the insurance companies a lot of money. I want you to understand this, what we're discussing here, in detail. The insurance company, before they have to pay a penny, get a minimum of $17,796 a year, or if you get sick, up to $24,000 a year before they have to pay a penny. And remember, they also negotiate on the back end with the provider. They tell the hospital, we're not going to give you $500 for the room. We're going to give you $200 for the room. I mean, so again, these are people, health insurance companies. It's an industry that creates nothing, makes nothing, serves nothing, gives nothing. But before anything exchanges, they get $24,000 in their pockets. You want to know why they fight so much to keep you dumb? To make you believe that Medicare for all is socialized medicine and it's going to be bad for you? Because they've got a cash cow in you via your government and via your deductibles. $24,000 before a penny is paid out on your behalf. In 2022, health insurance companies offering plans through the exchanges made $20 billion. If the subsidies are extended permanently, as KFF suggests, the price tag, according to the congressional budget, will be closer to $28 billion to these companies. Think about this, folks. I want you to think straight. All these companies do is they are a conduit between you and your healthcare. So they extract $28 billion for paying a bill that your government can pay with one entity and you can pay via your taxes. And they try to make it seem like they're doing you a favor to protect you from healthcare socialism, socialized medicine. People, the reason they need you dumb is because that's the way they can pilfer you. That is the way they can take your money right out of your pockets. You work hard every single day. There is a more equitable, much less expensive way to fix this. Eliminate health insurance companies altogether. They don't provide a service to you. They do not provide, the hospital provides a service, the doctors provide a service, even the equipment manufacturers provide a service, even though drug companies and these other guys need to be tailored in because most of the design and the technology that goes into these products were designed on and invented. The intellect came from you. You're the one who paid all the universities where these things are developed. Again, people, they need you dumb. What we try to do here is educate everyone on how things really work. And in doing so, you can make the appropriate political choices so that they can no longer have the few, the corporate state, pilfer you, rob you, steal from you legally. Brothers and sisters, please, this is not an ideological issue. This is a common sense issue once you're educated. This is an issue where we have been fooled, indoctrinated for decades upon decades upon decades. And the reason you don't hear this often in this detail on mainstream media is because you don't slap the hands that feed you. And if you take a look, every other commercial is a healthcare commercial, is an insurance, it's a drug. It's one of these guys that are funding an inordinate amount of money. And part of that money, that inordinate amount of money, is to keep you dumb. Yep, the whole idea is to keep you dumb. If you're dumb, then you take in everything that they say. And Eric, you've read too much Milton Friedman. That is wrong. Your statement is completely wrong. Capitalism isn't a meritocracy. It's a fraternity. And if you doubt that, you ask me. I formed my own several companies. I've tried and I've done many things that, by the way, I could have gotten into that capitalist domain. But remember again, it's a fraternity. And anybody who doubts that, I can show you a whole lot of people who have a whole lot of innovative ideas. But if they don't get into that fraternity, that idea won't come to a fruition for several reasons. The legal entry into the realization of said outcome is not guaranteed if you don't have those with capital to ultimately get you. There are exceptions, of course, right? You could establish a pizza shop and your pizza shop go through the roof, but that's not capitalism. That's free enterprise. Capitalism is something completely different. And until you decide that you want to learn what it really is, you'll continue to make some of the statements that you make, my dear brother, that actually are nonsensical. But then again, that is what capitalists want you to believe. Anyway, let's go ahead and play the last video of the day. And it's about it is about Kamala Harris flipping the switch on Donald Trump. And she needs to keep hammering this message because I think this message will stick. Kamala Harris went to Atlanta, Georgia for a huge rally. I mean, there were thousands of people at the rally, and she did something on immigration Democrats needed to have done for a very long time. That's why it's good to have young blood in. That's why it is good to have people who understand the law in. That's why it is good to have a good tactician that's running for president when you're running against a charlatan like Donald Trump. She is going to make the immigration issue not a Democratic weakness, but a weakness of President Trump. Check out how she does it here, and then we'll take it on the other side.
For example, on the issue of immigration. So I was the Attorney General of a border state. In that job, I walked underground tunnels between the United States and Mexico on that border with law enforcement officers. I went after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and human traffickers that came into our country illegally. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been talking a big game about securing our border, but he does not walk the walk. Or as my friend Quavo would say, he does not walk it like he talks it. So look, our administration worked on the most significant border security bill in decades. Some of the most conservative Republicans in Washington, D.C. supported the bill. Even the Border Patrol endorsed it. It was all set to pass. But at the last minute, Trump directed his allies in the Senate to vote it down. He tanked the bipartisan deal because he thought it would help him win an election, which goes to show Donald Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. And when I am president, I will work to actually solve the problem. So here is my pledge to you. As president, I will bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump killed, and I will sign it into law and show Donald Trump what real leadership looks like.
So yes, what is Kamala Harris going to be able to do? She is going to be able to show that when it was time to solve a particular border problem, day in and day out, she has two things to say. With executive action by the president himself, he's been able to calm the border crossing. Even though we don't particularly like the means he had to use, he calmed the border crossing to a position less than when Donald Trump left office. But secondly, when it was really time to solve the problem, using a conservative plan, a bill that was written mostly by a conservative senator. Donald Trump was not interested in solving the problem. He claimed that the people coming over the border could actually be a threat to the United States. It could also bring terrorism, all this kind of stuff they like to talk about. So if he really cared about the country, he would not have said, don't sign the bill. Even if the bill isn't a perfect bill, if it's going to solve some problems, sign the bill and we can move on. And if in his case, if he thought he was going to be president again, we could make it better when I become president. But he is not interested in the problem. And what Kamala has started to do is to bend that problem, bend the immigration problem, and make it a Donald Trump problem. Immigration failure, Donald Trump. Immigration failure, Donald Trump. Well done. Actually, that was very well done. And let me just talk to my brother, Mr. Rational. Capitalism is not free enterprise at all. I repeat, capitalism is not free enterprise. They want you to believe that capitalism is free enterprise so that you will fall, so that you will keep capitalism. Now, here's the deal. China is a capitalist country. All right. Russia is a capitalist country. Neither of them have free enterprise, but they're both capitalist countries. Free enterprise depends on democracy. You're free to create all that you want. In capitalism, you are not. Okay? Capitalism is a form of antiseptic slavery, both in its inception, in its formation, and in its action. It splits companies into pieces that can be sold on markets as bits and pieces. It creates I mean, it's important to understand why in business schools they want to teach capitalism as free enterprise. It is not. Capitalism is an evil institution, okay, that actually that puts capital ahead of absolutely everything. And if you doubt that, every time you ask a businessman that is a true capitalist, the first thing he says, how will that affect business? It's important that we understand the distinctions between capitalism and free enterprise. Capitalism has things like structures like, and I explained that perfectly in my book, As I See It, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. Capitalism has features like if you create if many people create a product, the person who has the capital to go get a patent can actually prevent you from using your own invention. That's capitalism. Capitalism says that if you're a farmer who somebody's pollen from a field blows onto your field and pollinate your plants, and somehow it has the genetic material of the genetically modified corn, that at that point in time, you owe that capitalist country, that capitalist company, money for using their intellectual property. And I have a whole lot of those features in this book. This is my first book, As I See It, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. This will show you, first of all, that this whole system is a fraud. And of course, my other book, which is How to Make America Utopia, this is what we're supposed to be living towards. How do we make America a true utopia? We have the natural resources for it. We have the monies for it. What we don't have is an economic system that is equitable and ensure that we can all have equal access to success. Less capitalism is what the founders that opened the West did, where the selected got land. Those who came and rushed onto somebody else's land and took it and built their fortunes off of that land that wasn't theirs, stolen, and then saying it's mine and now I need to protect it at all costs. And those other people that were shifted off the land and a lot of them coming back, this mine now. Folks, you have to you get the reason the right is so intent on burning books, on making sure you don't learn real history, is because if you learn real history, you will question a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot will be questioned, but we don't. Why is it that myself as a foreigner who came and became a naturalized citizen, who had to learn everything there is to learn about America, can sit down and talk to somebody who has a big mouth and knows little about how this country functions? And you know why? Because they want you dumb. That's as nice as I can put it. They want you dumb. Any one of us immigrants that many like to denigrate, to get into this country, we had to learn so much about this country and how it operates and how it runs. We had to be tested for a citizenship. And most people that were born here don't even know their own history. And that is why we continue to screw up both nationally and internationally, because we don't know our history by design. So folks, when you hear Eric shoot off his mouth with a lot of stuff, understand it is somebody that doesn't know his own constitution. When you hear CSAC says certain things, remember it is somebody that has a poor view of how this country actually works. And my expectation is by being here around all you knowledgeable folks that know the Constitution, that really understands it, that have actually read it, that what you have will actually entice them, make them hungry to actually get educated. Because that's what we all need. I need it. Everybody needs an education. I'm doing my homework. Are you? But yeah, anyway, folks, let me go ahead and start reading. Carl Cox says, AI does not improve the lives of the bottom 90% in terms of wealth of Americans. Capitalism works for the mega rich corporation. Let's talk about that, Carl Cox, because you just made a very important statement there, which is true. So far, AI is working for the good old AI bros, right? That's who it's working for. But the reality is AI isn't anything special in the aggregate. AI is the composite. It is the I don't. It's not. I don't want to use the word composite. It's the cumulative knowledge. AI. Listen to me well. AI is the cumulative knowledge of all of us. It's the collective knowledge. And notice I said the cumulative knowledge of all of us. All AI does is scan the entire world's internet for information, aggregates them, index them, turn them into learning trees. Okay? And what that does is the AI can give you quite a bit of good answers, right? Because it has all the information and they're graded for intentionality, they grade them for reliability, all that sort of stuff. That is all in the model to figure out what is accurate, what isn't, etc., based on cross-referencing, etc. But here's the deal. The fact that that is our cumulative knowledge means we should all benefit from it. Just like oil, right? If you own a piece of land and they drill for oil there, and the piece of land you bought, there's oil. Oh, wow, I'm rich now. I've got oil under my land. First of all, most of the times that's not true anymore because most of the time you only own the topsoil. The mineral rights usually is owned by somebody else, which means if they find oil under your land, they'll directional drill, take the oil out, and give you nothing or maybe a royalty for whatever inconvenience that you have. But here's the thing. Things like oil and these natural resources belongs to nobody. And it should be our birthright, right? It should be our birthright. So when you have the coal guy wanting to dig coal and pay an employee a fixed amount for coal or a fixed amount for oil, etc., but then a few people who invested in that company that drilled and extracted that oil made all the money, that is ripping off all our natural, a common that should have belonged to all of us. The same thing goes with AI. AI, instead of mining oil, we have the AI bros who mine our composite knowledge. And after they mine our composite knowledge, they sell it and only a few profit from it. But it's all our knowledge. It's we who created it. And they mine it. Actually, government needs to get into AI. And what government needs to do is to make sure that AI, for all the dislocation that AI will create, should be proportional to the work week. So as AI grows, what we should have is the work week fall. And what that gives us is the ability for more people to get into their own businesses. It also gives the ability for more people to take care of their kids. It also gives us a better lifestyle because we don't have to work that hard because our collective knowledge is being used After all, much of what we do is repetition, repetition, repetition. That's why robots can do what they do, right? So as we build more robots, that's what happens. We got a limerick. We got a limerick. And what is it? Who is it from? The one and only Tom Zornick. He is our poet laureate, also known as our poetry czar. I like, folks like to use that word czar, right? So here we go. I haven't read it yet, but let me copy it down and put it in somewhere that I can read it more easily. Let's go like this. I'm going to read our brother's limerick right now, directly from Mr. Zornick. Here it goes. Kamala, based on the lyrics of Camelot. Kamala, oh Kamala, the first female president shall be. A special White House resident you'll see. The Harris administration in Washington, D.C. A phenomenal sensation it will be for me, you, and everybody too. With Kamala, or Kamala, oh Kamala, oh Kamala. She'll be a knight in shining armor. Will fight for factory workers and farmer. The dragons that attack will be no match. Enemies of democracy will quickly be dispatched. And everywhere she goes, friend and foe each knows. The leader that we choose, the leader that we chose is Kamala or Kamala. Oh Kamala, oh Kamala. You'll always fight for what is right now. You'll lead us from darkness to the light now, away from conspiracy lies and to the truth, working for the elderly, middle age, and youth. Not an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth, but I love and care for people everywhere. That's Kamala, our Kamala. Oh Kamala, oh Kamala. No doubt she'll be a towering potus, just like her name, the flowering lotus, transcending depths of gloom and adversity, ascending from mud to bloom above in purity. She'll take us to the top, no need to ever stop. And when she goes to Paris, they'll greet Madame President Harris by saying, "Ooh la la," to Kamala, our Kamala. That was beautiful, Sarnik. You knocked it out of the park again, and I only made one mistake, but you knocked it out of the park. Love it, love it, love it. All right, what else have we got there? I can sing that. Yep, Bruce Pollard said he can sing it. Lee Grant says, "Oh, long will be the Dems be able to hide the fact that Kamala isn't really black." Oh my God, that Kamala isn't really black. My God. Lee Grant, why do you buy the right wing stuff? You're too smart for that. You're too smart for that. Saying Kamala ain't black is almost saying I ain't black. I'm from Panama. My folks are from Jamaica. My descendants came to Panama via Jamaica. Okay? It's amazing, isn't it? My grandmother was Jamaican. Ah, that's right, Yvette. I'm gonna, we need to find Kamala. Hey, you should do that. It's better if he does it. You should send that to Kamala, that limerick to the campaign. I love it. I love it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna recite it in better form and put it up on the video with your picture. Oh, she got me something to put on the screen. I hope the screen is behaving a bit better. It was kind of blinking earlier. Go ahead and put that up. And we'll put it up for Bridge MCP. Here we go. There is the screen right there. There we go. He who follows the herd only sees assholes. That's a good one. Bridge, why do you do that to me? At least warn me when you put these things out so that I wouldn't laugh uncontrollably. All right? Anyway, we're coming near the end of the program, my brothers and my sisters. I want to thank all of you for being here with me. Everybody, my right wing flank, my left wing flank, my middle flank, all my flank. I love you all. And I'm serious about that. It doesn't matter that I give you a hard time or you give me a hard time. That's what America is all about. right? So remember that Indian isn't black. Her father is Jamaican, black Jamaican. Thank you very, very much. She's half Jamaican, which means half black in her case, and half Indian. Thank you. Por favor, hermano. Por favor. Entiende eso. All right. Now, please support the program however you can. I always ask you to support it via, first of all, we have a support page. That support page is, in fact, politicsdoneright.com/support. So you can find us at politicsdoneright.com/support. Alternatively, you can also support us by becoming a paid member of our newsletter. That is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. I would love for more people to become paid members of the newsletter. We have thousands of free subscribers. We need quite a bit more paid subscribers. So I ask you so kindly to go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter and become a paid subscriber. And thank you. That is correct. Don't forget the shop. I have let me go ahead and put the store up, Bridge. I use a different one. That one is one, but I also use this one. I'm going to put it at politicsdoneright.com/store. Let me go to that one for you. Thanks. What am I going to do without Bridge? Bridge is like my wing person, you know? Love me, everybody, but love me some Bridge too. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do that. Egberto, why don't you get it right? Get it right. Get it right. Come on. I'm getting to it right now, folks. Forgive me for the delay. Forgive me for the delay. Forgive me for the delay. Let's see. Oh, I saw the mistake. I see the mistake. I see the mistake. And here we go. Let's go to politicsdoneright.com/store. politicsdoneright.com/store. And here you can get all our stuff for the Politics Done Right program, including, these shirts, etc. All right. But again, I need some more subscribers to our newsletter. And you can do that by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. And you can go to our store at politicsdoneright.com/store. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.